What's up, everybody? Pete here, coming at you guys with a topping deck list from the GOAT Grand Prix Chicago tournament we had this past weekend. I have Christian Ponce and Nick Vidmar, who both topped with the same list. It was the same 55 card list, so I'm going to let them explain how the event went, what they thought, and any last thoughts before we get into the deck profile. So, Christian?
Yeah, so the event went overall really well for me. I ended up getting top 8, so it was a little stressful because like a lot of games came down to the wire, but I was able to pull it out, and it was just a really fun event.
Vidmar, anything you want to add?
I'm happy to hear that a lot of your games came down to the wire because a lot of my games were over in like 2 minutes. So I had a good event. I only got top 16, but during Swiss, like, my only loss was just not something that I could do anything about, so it happens.
Yeah.
How'd you lose?
The man played warrior, and he was just
You got
he just had the cards. He had judgments at the right time and couldn't do anything.
All right, so let's get into the deck profile, guys.
I'm like, save me time and money.
Go ahead, Christian.
So starting off in the one trap we actually played, just Ring. Ring's like insane, so like it's a staple of Go format and will forever be. So the main deck monsters, we're gonna play 3 Cyber-Stein.
Why'd you go with 3 Stein?
That's actually something Vidmar can attest to because he was actually like really like was instrumental in creating the actual deck itself. So, and he was actually the one who told both me and you about the 3 Cyber-Stein.
So what was the theory behind the 3 Stein instead of...
So with the Cyber-Stein deck, I'm trying to kill everyone as fast as possible. Once you pay the 5k life, it's you either win the game or you lose the game in most cases, and that's just is what it is with the deck. So I want to see this card either in my opening hand always as my normal summon, or I want it to be the thing I hit off my reasoning or my monster gate.
So moving on to the next, 3 Sacred Crane. Anything else you really want to explain here?
Sacred Crane speaks for itself. It's just a good card. It gets you the extra draw cards. A lot of people are scared of this deck, so they usually don't call for it unless they already have seen cards. So you're almost guaranteed to always get the extra draw. And I don't know about you, Christian, but a lot of my games, I had a lot of situations where my Crane hit exactly what I needed. So it was that one extra card, whether it was a pushing card or it was just like the combo piece I needed.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling 4 or 8, and it always hit my Stein. So I was like always like, all right, hit Stein. Pay 5,000 and Master of Oz, Megamorph, and so no spoiler there. But yeah, no, like that was the one thing like I was actually wondering about and talking with them was because we had a lot of normal summons that we can use for our monster gate. That I didn't think about at the time, but in testing, it came up a lot where I really did need like some monster to summon instead of having a tribute monster.
Yeah.
So let's go into the bigger boys. So Dark Magician of Chaos, Fusilier Dragon, and Black Luster Soldier. Vidmar, anything you want to say about any of these?
In my games during Swiss, I didn't hit a Democ off reasoning or monster gate a single time. And I hit Fusilier a lot, and that card is absolutely amazing. It comes up so much, especially since this deck is all about pushing, and it just gets the damage in there sometimes. The card I milled the most throughout the entire weekend was always my BLS. I don't think I won a single game or played my BLS. So,
For sure. I mean, like, I was lucky, or unlucky to say, like, I drew a lot of my Dark Magician and Chaos instead of hitting them, so I was like, oh my god. But I sometimes got into the situation where I did actually, like, a tribute summon for it, either off a Stein and off a Crane, and getting them in graveyard, so, like, and then just adding back, like, any combo piece I needed and just pushing for games. So, like, this card's just crack. This is my favorite card.
I definitely tribute summon my Democ more than I ever hit it off reasoning or monster gate.
Oh, yeah, same. Yeah. All right, moving on to spells. So we have 3 Monster Gate, 3 Reasoning, and well, actually, let's just talk about this stuff. Obviously, like Reasoning Gate, you're playing 3 and 3 always.
Yep. This card is not as good as this card, but you sometimes need this card just because you don't have a normal summon, and that's really what it comes down to. If the deck doesn't have a normal summon, that's why you play with Fusilier also as another normal summon. So it's just really important for the monster gate, but the reason is literally just to get you the extra monster. It has nothing to do with like the actual winning of the deck.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. It's these cards are insane. Like some of my favorites in all ago. So the most important card I would MVP 3 Megamorph.
So I've seen a lot of decks play just one Megamorph. Can you tell me why you guys chose to play 3 Megamorph this weekend?
Boy, can I tell you why we played
Those other decks are fucking wrong.
Yeah. Man. So obviously with Cyber-Stein, as soon as you activate, you're instantly activated and you are Megamorph is live at all times. Even if you're not into your Cyber-Stein, you have your Fusilier that comes up a lot, and it's just big damage that you can swing with. But if I can open the combo, if I can have Stein Megamorph always, I just need one other card to clear, whether it's knock, mind control, giant Trunade, heavy, anything like that. Literally one of those 4 cards, and usually the game's over. And that's how most of my games in Swiss went, where the Chaos players would set a monster and pass, and then they would die like instantly.
Oh yeah, like this and this, along with, let's see, the big boy himself. That's full combo right there. That's you're killing somebody.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna die. So it's like what we need. 3 giant Trunade, and let me see if I can find it in here. Actually, it would make more sense to talk about it together. And the 1 heavy. So, also MVP necessary for the Megamorph Stein combo is just getting rid of their back row, because you just don't want to deal with it. You just want to kill them. That's the whole point of the deck.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Not so much for Chaos, but the burn decks and the warrior matchups, or like the more control decks. That's the honest win con, is that, because most of the Chaos decks are just setting a monster and maybe 1 card. So you don't really have to worry about it too much. So you're doing a 1-for-1 spot removal on those. But on the bigger decks like Chaos or fucking Burn and Warrior and whatever generic control decks there were, like the zombie decks, like the Skill Drain or whatever that were being played, these have to be able to clear them as fast as possible. So including with the MST that's played in the deck, like most of my stuff was like a one of like just it was mostly a 1-for-1 trap removal. That's literally all it was on most cases. There's just a auto include in all these decks. You can also bounce your Swords Are Really Light. That came up for me a bunch of times, so I have like more than 3 turns on my swords. My Primo bounces happen multiple times.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What will your Snatch Steal win against?
I had a turn that I Snatch Stole something, tributed for the Democ to get the Snatch Steal back to take his other thing, and then I still OTK'd him even like through like having multiple monsters and back row.
That's
So
insane.
there was just a lot of situations where Trunade comes up. Trunade definitely comes up more often than the Storm did, at least in terms of like viability like throughout the entire game.
It's almost like a combo card.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. All right, let's get into the 2-ups. 2 Upstart, 2 Nobleman Crossout, and 2 Mind Control. So instead of like playing like originally in a bunch of lists, you would see like the 3 Jar, 1 Reckless, and I just wanted to have a way where even if I went second, or we would want in a way like even if we went second, we just want a way to like get rid of your monster and just go in for game. Like I don't want to go second and draw like a Jar 3 that's gonna be dead. Because even though like the hand could be a little bit better, and I just need the 1 more piece.
I know, because
How was mind control for you guys? Did you guys ever plus off it, or was it just mostly flipping spies all day?
Oh, like I like mind controlled like a bunch of things, like people's faiths or just a lot of faiths today, and I was able to get back like one time I got back my own mind control, but like either way, like you just add it back, or as insane as it was, I added back I think my own graceful charity to be able to draw in, just get in and actually kill the dude. Like it was just insane. Yeah,
I never had that.
Nah, that's crazy.
I think that guy overplayed his hand. He was really greedy with it because he pot of greeded into graceful charity and then set a
Chaos player?
Yeah, unabashedly so.
Yeah.
Did you ever want a third? Like, would you prefer a third in the main?
So my issue with mind control is I came into a position where a lot of the times I didn't have a normal summon, and I cannot use my monster gate with the mind control monster. So I was usually just taking their monster, flipping it, hoping it was something good to plus off of, or stopping them from doing something, and then passing my turn back. I had one game that I played where I was able to clear a back row with MST, and then I summoned my Stein. I had Megamorph in hand, but I couldn't out the monster, so I card destruction into mind control. And then it was a Faith, so I flipped the Faith, got my Megamorph back, and I just hit him with Panda, so without Koala. So there's situations like that came up, but nothing too much. But I wish there's other cards you could play other than mind control. Like, I wish brain control was a viable option, but because of the amount of chaos players and setting monsters, this is like the only viable option.
But like, a lot of chaos players don't set to play around mind control.
That's true. Well, a lot of them don't care because a lot of the chaos players are very greedy, and they hit you with the bet you better have
I
it.
guess a good player, brain control will be okay.
That's true. I did play against a lot better players who were just like summoning their monsters, like the Koichis, and attack and just passing, and they weren't setting them, which was like silly in the moment, but it made sense because like a lot of them knew that I was playing this deck.
Because
So
you just mind control the Koichi, then
Yeah.
just fucking.
but that did come up a few times.
Moving on. Let's go to the one. Oh, actually, well, let's put this aside for now. But so you have well, two members of the Trinity, Pottery Green and Graceful.
Why'd you opt not to play duo?
Like, I just want cards to kill you. Like, Duo is gonna rip cards from your hand, but I'm also gonna take 1,000 life. And as you said, Pete, like, I always think about the quote a lot, is that we're playing with 3,000 life. Like, Stein, we're always gonna pay. Like, this is who we're playing this for, and if we're like I lost every game where I wasn't in Stein Rage. It was incredibly difficult to get back from it. And so, like, just like I cannot afford that 1,000 life, honestly.
These are all the broken one-ofs, anything...
All the broken one-ofs. For me, my MVP of the weekend was this card and this card. The other ones are self-explanatory for the most part. I guess I'll add this dude in there because that did come up for me a lot, where like people were watching me card destruction like actually like unbelievably good hands, but like they were actually unplayable in the moment. So I would get rid of like my Primas, my Megamorphs, like Reasonings, just to dig harder and try to guarantee me more better spells.
Plus, hitting opponent's Karibos are pretty good.
Plus, hitting people's Karibos out of their hands was good. That did happen in one of the games, so that was a good game. This came up a lot of just keeping my board presence alive. Not so much with the OTK aspect, but literally just like hitting a Crane with that and leaving it there was like so impactful because nothing like outside of a tribute monster was getting over 2,400 or like a chaos monster. So I could literally just leave that there, and it was great. Like I said before, this card, MVP, one of the matches, I literally had like almost 2 swords out of like the same swords because of Giant Trunade. So it came up really big when I was just stalling to draw cards.
That's good for you, because for me, like, I kept getting... That's good for you, because for me, I kept getting, like, Heavy Stormed, Dust Tornadoed, MST'd. I just activated, I'm like, all right, I gotta stall.
This card was also a big magnet for the removal.
Yeah.
So when they were not hitting my scapegoat, like I would play swords and I would set scapegoat and they'd be like MST the swords. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, that's perfectly fine. Like,
yeah,
you go ahead and attack me, I guess. And they would attack into goats and then be upset that it was goats every time.
Yeah,
So,
I was gonna say, speaking of goats, did you ever find yourself setting it, or do you ever find yourself setting multiple goats too?
yes.
yeah.
Just because there are a lot of situations like the end phase goats where if I set the one, I'm gonna instantly lose. There was one round where I did just raw activate a scapegoat because like I knew what he was playing and I'm like, he already has 2 set. I have nothing to remove the sets. I'm just gonna activate it and pass, and he didn't respond to it, so I saved myself for at least a turn from going under the Stein range. So yeah, it worked out pretty good for the most part.
I was always in the realm of like hard activating mine because like I would either never see this card or like I don't know, just I guess that's just my type of day. But or anytime I did just set one, it was again always hit by like an MST or like a Dust Tornado. So it was just annoying. So I was like, all right. At some point, I just gave up, just like hard activate because like either way, like I have to activate it next turn anyway. So,
And that's it for the main deck, right? 40 cards?
yes, 40 cards.
Okay, cool. Can you show us the side deck?
So side deck, start off with the traps, 3 Threatening Roar, and 3 Royal Decree. So, Royal Decree, I cited in this every game basically. I just hate back row, or every other game because I faced a lot of like back row heavy decks, and so I just didn't want to have to deal with back row. I didn't want to
Did you decide anything else to deal with traps as well?
Oh yeah, and of course we'll get to him eventually. But yeah, like I was always setting at least these two, at least 1 and 2, or sometimes the occasional 3. I had a weird like side ratio, like it's just the way I am as a player. But either way, like I still found myself in situations like, especially against Urban Aggro. Like I didn't know if he was playing traps or not, but like, and like I know those decks, especially like aggro decks, like play back row because like they want you to make sure you have like they want to protect their like big monsters. So you're like okay, whatever.
I found out that man was not playing trap cards because I lost to that person in top 16. So I also sided Jinzo for him. I didn't side Decrees against him, but I sided at least the Jinzo. The Threatening Roars, I only sided one time the whole entire event, and that was against my top 16 opponent. And I didn't see his whole deck. I didn't know which version of the deck he was playing, so I did not side all 3 of them. I definitely missided against that guy, but it was close. We went to game 3, so it's whatever. I lost because I didn't know he was playing Cyber-Stein, so which is ironic. So,
Good card. Good card.
best card
Best card of the format.
for sure.
No, I think like I didn't side this in all day, and I kind of regret it because like looking back on it, there's so many like, especially against the aggro decks, like because I would side these in, and I'm like, wait a minute, now like why would I play these? And then I was just like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. But like still, like regardless, I should have taken advantage of this card because in my head, I was just worried about the mirror because again, like reasoning or some type of reasoning gate deck, like those do come up, and so like they're like, okay, Giant Trinity. I'm like, all right, Chain. And they're like, okay, I live another turn, but I never actually faced any mirrors.
There was a lot of reasoning gate decks here,
Yeah.
outside of just the OTK.
I'm like, this package, I'm not sure how you got away with siding 2. Every time I sided, if I thought about siding this card, all 3 went in. This card went in. I didn't care.
4 cards came in.
I had to, because I'm seeing one of these cards if I want to win that matchup. And you know what? This never came up. This card, however.
This card's insane, dude. I love this card.
Yeah, Reason is a great card.
You did play 2 Panda Burns.
I did play
so-
2 Panda Burns. I 2-0 both Panda. No, 2-1. Yeah, 2-1, 2-0.
Oh, you beat them.
Yeah, but I beat both of them. Very convincingly.
Sure.
All right, let's move on to spells. So 3 Book of Moon, and the 1 Mind Control and the 1 Big Bang Shot.
We'll get into the Big Bang Shot. What was the reason for the triple Book of Moon? What were you scared of?
Go control. Specifically Thousand Eyes Restrict, because we have no good way outside of making a Gatling Dragon or Snatch Tributing or doing some shenanigans to like out the Thousand Eyes, so you just get stuck. Also in the mirror or any deck that is playing Cyber-Stein, like I found out in top 16 that if they were playing Cyber-Stein, he'd play Warrior from a Different Planet or Last Warrior from a Different Planet, and your only outs in that deck to continue playing are Book of Moon and Snatch Steal.
Well, your one loss in Swiss was the King Tiger, wasn't it?
No.
That was my
He did,
last.
That was
he,
your
he did play
loss?
King Tiger against me, but I had already used all my Steins. So,
No, definitely along with that. Like, but also like as these guys have talked about King Tiger, like in testing, like whether it be in person or online, running against King Tiger, I'm like, oh crap. So like my normal summon monsters are completely dead, except for like just finding shenanigans to like actually getting them out, and so like again like
Playing a Stein and putting a on it.
oh no, because like it would just be destroyed right under King Tiger, so it's like
Would it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it has to be summoned first. But
So it's like it is definitely frustrating. So so the one mind control, again, just more removable option to like take away your opponent's monster and like just, especially if you're playing against chaos, like this just comes in like
Every game.
like just.
I think I actually decided the third
I
mind
get the
control almost
magicians.
every single game. I didn't even matter what the matchup
Card's
was.
crazy.
I just wanted an extra spot removal. And in most like Reverse the Warrior deck that I lost to, I put it in again just to clear the one monster, and I took out the Nox because Nox do nothing, and the mind control at least removes it so I can freely attack. So
I think if there was a card of the weekend that every deck was playing, it was Mind Control.
For sure.
Mind Control was the card of the weekend.
yeah, what happened?
Oh, yeah.
What happened with you and mind control, Pete?
My opponent, I think it was round 5 or 6. My opponent had mind controlled my own Stein, made a Thousand Eyes Restrict, and then proceeded to Thousand Eyes Restrict, take my Gatling Dragon, and then proceeded to hit me
Yeah.
a lot. So obviously it's a good card, and people are keeping it in even against Reasoning Gate. So they're
Which is wild.
I was wild. It was game 2, and that was wild to me. But yeah, no, a card of the weekend for sure. Definitely the most represented in most decks if we did it count. But
Probably 3 of them either.
it's a 3 of
main
it.
or side.
3 of it, main or side for every Chaos Turbo deck. Warriors are probably siding it, and we definitely played 3 of it because we realized it's one of the most powerful cards in Go format. And now getting into the true spice of the deck. So, can we
That's what you call it.
explain Big Bang Shot, the theory and why this card came up?
All right, so this is like a you guys thing because I wasn't involved with any discussion about this. So why did you guys decide to play Big Bang
Air
Shot?
Knight if you just want piercing?
Because I don't want to summon an Air Knight. I want to summon my Cyber-Stein and
Big ass koala.
summon my big ass koala and attach the Super Saiyan dude to him and hit it with the Megamorph so I can hit for 88 over anything in
84.
Pierce or 88.
88, you right? I'm right.
88. It did come up in one of my matches where I ended up hard drawing it for like 4 turn with the rest of the combo, where I just needed like a giant Trunade, and over the course of 2 turns I ended up grabbing it and I found it, and I was like, neat. He had a set monster, no back row. I'm like, if it's a spy, he's still taking 68 or whatever it is, and I'm like, he's still doing something. I'm still destroying him. And ended up being like Dekoichi or something. He just died. He literally just exploded. Would I play more of these? In theory, I might actually consider playing more of these in the future. Specifically for the other reason that Pete was talking about, because of its
Last Effect.
last effect, which with Giant Trunade, if you target, if it's equipped to a monster and this is removed from the field, the monster gets banished. So it's another spot removal card for you to go with another combo card for your Trunade. On top of the piercing, but the piercing was the most important part for me. But the second part did not come up for me, unfortunately. I wish it did because it'd be a way better story.
But bro, you forgot it adds 400 attack, right? Like,
I didn't know it as an attack.
So does Megamorph? Is that before?
It's after.
It's
Megamorph
after?
doubles original attack, and then Big Bang Shot would be on top. So the 42 would double to 84, and then you would add the 4.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, it's crazy. Can you imagine United We Stand and then Megamorph to United We Stand? Oh.
Oh my god, huge!
Yeah. So Big Bang Shot for sure was an MVP for me for at least one of my Swiss rounds. I don't know if it really mattered, but it secured me the for sure kill on the OTK. So it was good in that aspect.
Do you think equip spells in general are just underplayed in Go format? Everyone plays the main 2, Prix and Snatch, but like we were playing Triple Megamorph, the United We Stand, and the Big Bang Shot. Would you consider playing any other equip spells, or do you think people are just not utilizing them?
Like the mage power.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool equip ones.
Yeah, I think that Megamorph is definitely underutilized in the format in general. I've been thinking about a lot of aggro decks that may be able to play it, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword because a lot of the problems with aggro decks is you want to draw the monsters, or you don't want to draw too many traps or spells. But what happens when you play those decks? Usually you draw all monsters and no traps, or you draw all traps and no monsters, and you're just not. It's just not melding together. So even in this deck, the only reason we're allowed to play the 3 Megamorph, the United, all those cards, is strictly because of reasoning, and it's going to mill them anyways. Whereas the other cards, with other decks, if I'm hard drawing an equip spell that I cannot use, like I am so far behind that like it does not matter. So you have to be like already in a winning game state most of the time for like a lot of the other equip spells to actually like get full value.
Sure.
All right, so let's move on to the monsters.
Yeah.
Well, other than Jinzo, because Jinzo's
Yeah.
obvious. He's
Had
his own,
issues.
He's his own guy. Yeah. There's a reason he's limited. But so Joan, Tribe, Spell Canceller, and of course Jinzo.
So we'll save Joan. Yeah. Go ahead.
So we already know what this boy does. We don't need to talk about him no more.
Yeah, get out of here, guy. I love you.
We'll talk about Spell Canceller first. He's a boy, all right. I never sided him in. I don't know if you did. I don't know if you had a reason to. But the thought process was for other reasoning decks and the FTK decks that just are all spells, and it's just like an instant win no matter what you hit. So if you can get it out, like it's almost always guaranteed game at some point. That's really the only logic behind it. At first, I think we were gonna play 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then
It bumped down to 2.
it bumped down to 2, and then we
it
went back
bumped
to
down.
1.
Yep.
So we got our sense knocked into us over the course of a couple days. But with that being said, then at like midnight before the event, I started cooking in my brain that for some reason Tribe Infecting Virus was like the go-to answer.
What were you playing in the slot before?
Lightning Vortex?
Time Wizard.
It was Time
Or
Wizard.
Time Wizard.
That was
Time Wizard.
Time Wizard.
Time Wizard we were playing as a joke, but like
Hey, we're playing Time
But-
Wizard format.
but-
We're playing Time Wizard.
it has come up multiple times. And it's a
Yes.
level 2, so
Yes.
it's a light.
How was Tribe for you?
I'm the one who cooked up the Tribe thought, and I never sided the card one time.
What would you play? Or what did you think you would need?
It was just another card for the control decks. So like Go Control, Chaos Control, anything that was putting out Thousand Eyes again or flipping goats on me. It was just an
I know
answer.
Christian cleared a board of spies with it, but that's not
Correct.
the best use I saw.
Yeah, whenever I had that problem, I just mind controlled it and didn't have to deal with that because I just drew better.
Yeah, no, like I think dude had called 2 for my reasoning, and so I ended up summoning like Tribe. I'm like, okay, well he has face up guys on the field because I would have just summoned Gallon Dragon eventually, but like, so I just like, all right, discard, destroy your spies, and you're like, okay, nice. So,
What was missing that you felt from your side that you could have played instead?
We got it.
I'm a huge fan. Okay, because I kept telling these
Go ahead,
guys,
go ahead.
Visor Shot.
I already know what it's gonna be.
Visor Shot. He's the guy. He you're playing people are setting cards, this is Go format. So like you're just like, all right, bounce everything back to your hand, and you're like, oh no. And then you like, crap in their face.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, like I think Visor Shock might have came up more, but I also never had the matchups to test the Tribe, so I literally played against Chaos and Burn and Warrior. So like maybe it would have came up versus Warrior like while I was behind, but like I was already behind. So when you're behind with Warrior, it's not a fun time anyways. So I probably would keep Tribe, at least keep testing Tribe, but I don't know if it's like auto include. I'd probably cut Spell Canceller, but again, I didn't have the matchups, so I don't know for sure.
I think it's fair though with Spell Canceller because that one Spell Economics FDK deck has been running around like at least performing really well. And actually, we can talk about this, but we were all 3 of us were planning to play Spell Economics FDK with the one Tomb Cannon Soldier and the one Dark Magician of Chaos. We ended up not doing it. We're like, Cyber-Stein's just not do that.
It's just not enough.
This is the deck that I wanted to play for the last Illinois GGP, and I unfortunately missed because I overslept.
But we got a chance to play it anyway.
But I got a chance to play it anyways, and I convinced the boys to play it, so
Yeah.
it turned out well.
Yeah, so we want to
Our
play
last card.
last card.
Our last card, which is like your Pete.
This is my included though. This is my contribution. So the reason behind this card was because Vidmar had explained to me the night before he was texting. And he was cooking. He said, "I'm worried about burn," which is valid because this deck does lose the burn. You're playing with 3,000 life points. So we needed a card that was effective against burn, but that could still be utilized with Monster Gate reasoning and synergize with the rest of the deck. So I've been playing Joan in my reasoning gate decks long before that. And the reason is when Joan destroys an opponent's monster by balance into the grave, you gain life equal to the attack of the monster destroyed. So if you're running over Chaos Orcs, if you're running over Spies, you're getting like 23, 12, anything. You're getting all that extra life to make sure you have enough to Stein the first time, or to make sure you're not dying immediately after you do Stein. Plus, it's a level 7. No one ever calls level 7 in Reason Gate. Plus, it's a light, which is good for your BLS banishes. Anything else? Did you guys experience siding in Joan? Any uses for Joan? How did it work for you guys?
I mean, like, I sided it against Burn, and I just didn't see it because I drew the stones, and I completely manhandled them. Like, they didn't have any way to get me under at the, what's it called, 3,000, under 5,000 life points, and I just killed them with, like, Master of Oz OTK, shenanigans. But
Yeah. I was not able to OTK any of the Burn players I played. All my games were grind games, so I did side this in versus both of them, but the card that won me both matchups both times was not this card, unfortunately. It was Jinzo. But I did side this against Chaos as well, at least against decks that I saw they were setting. Like, it's just another out just to attack over things in game life. Because a lot of people that like knew how to play against the Reason Gate deck were playing super aggressive with their Chaos decks, where a lot of people were just setting. A lot of people switched and started attacking me. So I was able to, one game I was able to play this, and I think I gained like 1,400 off the Koichi or something. And was it relevant? Not sure, because he died the next turn, but it didn't matter. But it still did come up, and it's just a big beater. Again, even with Megamorph on this, is still 56, so it's huge. And it's similar to Fusilier, which is why I agreed to play it, because it just has a 28 body. Going forward, I would probably not play that game. But
dude, Steining twice, like, theoretically, is insane.
Twice.
correct, theoretically is, but I would probably not play it again.
Crashing over every warrior monster and just
Correct. That was the theory. I did side it versus the warrior guy too, because again, it was just big enough, and I could just keep gaining life points back, and that was the hope. Didn't get it. I didn't get Jinzo versus the warrior guy, so yeah, it was just not a good reasoning game versus him.
Sure. All right, do you guys want to go into the extra deck or the fusion deck?
I mean, like,
All right, I'm gonna show
Anything
you.
that the monsters that came up at least.
I'm gonna show you what I played the whole weekend. Or things that came. So you see this giant fusion deck, right? I summoned this card 99.9% of the time. I summoned him 2 or 3 times. I blew out a Chaos player with that card. And then I played this card, and this is all garbage.
Sure.
hey,
Okay.
I never played anything but these cards.
All right. So why? So first of all, why Master of Oz? Just for anyone who doesn't know.
Master of Oz is your OTK card. If you have an open board with Cyber-Stein Megamorph, it is instantly game over. So, given if you don't upstart or do something given life, if there's at their starting 8K, there's a game every time. That's literally the whole point of him. This is the one we hit with the big bang shot. Just to get over, you know, the Summon Set of Faith, or the Koichi, like I said, or even their Serpent, for whatever reason you would do that. Just guarantees in the game. So this is literally almost half of my games, if not more than half, were all OTKs. But my grind games were where it came down to, which is where the other 3 came in. So
Yeah, if you want to explain Ryu Shensi, what it does.
Christian summoned Yushenshi. Like,
I summon that card a lot as well.
He's
It's very
It's
Essentially,
cool.
that card came in clutch in his top 16.
came out multiple times in basically situations where I didn't draw back row removal. And I figured out it was a battle trap every time, so that was my only answer. And it helped me in the majority of my games. In my top 16, I was in a tough situation where I figured I was going to lose anyways. I Megamorphed it, attacked for 4K, he ringed, I negated it, but like he had 6 cards in hand still, so I assumed that his 400 attack injection Fair Lily that I no longer could use the ability for because I went under, and my Cyber-Stein that was sitting there on the board, and I had no protection for them, so I scooped up that game. But all the other games I played, it would end up being like a Mirror Force or something else, and I would just run through it. That's pretty much all Ryu Sentry was for, though. It was just negating the one battle trap. Christian, I know you had a different experience with your Ryu Sentry, so I'll let you talk about that one as well.
I don't even know, man. Like, I don't even know what to say, man.
Can you tell me
Like,
what his second effect does? Or I'm sorry, his
So-
first effect?
Here, read the card to us. Sir.
Yeah.
So, okay, Ryo Shensi. Also negates the effect of a magic card that specifically designates this card as a target and destroys it. So, like, in my top 16, I was going to go for game, and he only had 1 back row. And so, like, he was at 1,800 life. He was at 1,800 life. And so, like, all right, I was like, enter battle, swing for game. and he's like, I'm gonna activate Bookamoon, target Ryo Shensi, and I was like, and so like I was like, I just had to make sure, like I had the doubt in my mind, so I was like looking at it, I'm like, it's negated, sir. And I don't know why the guy thought that. I don't know what he thought. Like, I know Konami, like, you know, they switched, you know, this became, you know, was at one point Magic a card. It's now Spell card. He thought it was something with equips, where if you equip a spell to it, but like, then why would that ever have that effect? That's so...
Did he think designated not mean target? Or?
So it's the fun fact about like the GOAT format fusion deck is that a lot of the monsters in the fusion like deck in general that you're able to play have secondary effects that most people don't know what they actually do. If you could tell me right now, Christian, what the second half of Thousand Eye Restrict is, that's not the part of sucking up the monster.
Can't change battle positions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can't change
I'm
pals.
sorry, what's the third effect?
Can't target this card?
No, you can target that card.
Oh, you can. I don't know.
Did you get burned when the thing's
Nah,
destroyed?
if it were to die by battle, the equipped monster is destroyed instead.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Vidmar, I have a question
That's
for you
pretty
then.
good.
What does Fiend Skull Dragon negate?
I have no idea. I never played that.
Fuck effects.
Do you see this?
Yo.
Do you see this?
That's what you played.
This is what I played.
Do you guys have any fun stories for Gatling Dragon or Darkblade?
I know you do.
I hit heads almost 2 out of 3 times every time, but
crazy.
I usually only need to hit one because I was playing against Chaos, which is it's a deck, all right. Where they just T-set or they set a monster and pass. So if I didn't draw Mind Control or Knock, it was literally just me being like, cool. I either go for it with Master of Oz and just hope that it wasn't like a spy or something and try to attack with the Cyber-Stein, which happened a lot and got cleared and just got hit for the 8K. Otherwise, it was Gatling Dragon to clear the one set monster and then hope for the best, which a lot of the times was just enough. And it's amazing that deck is played as much as it is, because I don't know how you cannot recover after losing one face down monster. I don't get it.
I actually didn't make this at all.
Wow, that's crazy. Did you make anything else in its place, or you just?
Yeah, I made these two because these like
That's
this,
it all weekend.
Yeah, dude,
He
this
made
is
this
insane.
like every fucking game. I
It's
swear
Almost
to
every
God.
other
crazy.
game, like, cause I'm legit, like, I just hate back row. I
just
do
that
not
good.
want to deal with
He's
it.
him.
If this said
He is
card
him,
instead
dude.
of monsters,
So,
Oh my God.
Did you summon anything else besides these 4 or these 3?
These two.
these two.
These 2?
That's all he summoned.
That's all I
Only
summoned.
these 2?
tournament.
Wow.
That's crazy.
He went 7 rounds and then 2 rounds of top cut, and he literally summoned 2 monsters off his unlimited extra deck.
That's so funny.
That's
Would
amazing.
I wish I would have utilized these probably better. They probably would have came up in the matches in the games
Did
I've
you,
lost.
Did you play Chaos at all?
Oh yeah, I play like every other game was chaos.
You
Like,
just killed him, right?
Yeah.
yeah, so I
Yeah,
just
you
kill him because I legitimately had a really good day because I would draw like again full combo. You're looking at this.
I mean, he's just that good. He opens double reasoning style like every game. So like,
That must be nice.
Yeah.
It must be.
I did not feel that.
Wait. Wow. That's
Either one of these two.
Sure.
And then of course, like, you know, some form of back row removal, obviously. So like either one of these, because they're always T setting. They never, because they don't want to lose to heavy. They're, you know, so like, and any like good co-player, you know, obviously situational, but this is combo. This is what you need to win.
But really, it's just a 2-card combo, right? You
Yes.
just-
yeah.
It really is just 2-card combo. Like I said, there's a lot of times where I was overthinking what I was going to bring out over Cyber-Stein, and it literally always came down to me just going for it with Master of Oz because of confidence. You have confidence.
Yeah,
confidence
confidence.
is key because people are greedy, and people who play Chaos are greedy, and they will set their faith after they activated their Pot of Greed every time, like clockwork, and you attack over with the Stein, and then you OTK them, and the game's over. And I'm glad you got your Pot of Greed back, but you're dead, so it didn't matter.
So that's the 55 and of course the fusion deck. Do you guys have any other changes that you weren't talking about yet, or any other changes to the deck, or were you just happy with how it performed and all that?
I think Visor Shock's the only thing I'd probably reconsider, but
Okay.
other than that, I think the deck is fine how it is. I might consider main decking a 3rd Mind Control in the future, but the Mind Controls are strictly dependent on the field that it's being played in. So for the GGP this time and last time, the percentage, after the tournament was over, we went over the deck list because I always do the analysis for it. It was about 50% Chaos both times out of the 70 players or 69 players. And we had about the same amount of players for both events, and it was 50% both times. So fully knowing that is the reason why I play this deck, why I told Pete to play this deck, why I told Christian to play this deck, because the last GGP I was so convinced that this was like the best deck to beat that 50% of the room, which is all you need to do. The 50% of the room is all you need to beat. My only loss was to Warrior, which is arguably a really good matchup for me, but it just was unfortunate. And then top 16, I lost to a Cyber-Stein that made my deck unplayable. It happened.
Last Warrior, good card.
Last Warrior is a good card. Couldn't draw that out. Other than that, like that's all I would probably change about the deck. Otherwise, I could honestly say hands down it's probably the best deck in the format.
Christian, any notes?
Yeah, for sure. So no, like this is like my first top. So I've played in both the past two Chicago GGPs, and I didn't have much success with Warrior. Like, so you know, it's time to switch it up. And I like this deck a lot. I think it's kind of fun. As far as degenerate as it is, I actually do think it's kind of fun because it's just like you summon Big Koala, and you're like, hit you for 40, 84,
Big punch,
big punch to your face, and you're like, game? And you're like, okay. But no, like, so the guy who won, Marshall, I forgot, I don't know I forget his last name, but he played Relinquished, but I also counted as Chaos because he was, you know, playing Thunder Dragon and, you know, the Chaos cards, but I was so happy to, like it couldn't have happened to a better guy for him to win. Like, he's just a really cool dude, and so, like,
Good
you know,
player.
I guess, you know, shout out to him, obviously. Like, I really do wish, like, there's definitely things I wish I could have did different in that match against them in top 8, but overall I was really happy. Also, I think bringing this up, like, one of the banes of this deck's existence is Delinquent Duo. Getting Delinquent Duo and losing, like, my combo pieces, like Reasoning and Monster Gate and, like, anything good, and then getting Trap Dust Shooted afterwards, which is what Marshall did to me, like, because, you know, he's an insane player.
the classic combo.
The classic
Duo
combo.
into trap dust shoot. Yep.
And I'm just like,
Only the best players can get that combo.
only the really good guys. But no, still though, like, he went with like Relinquished Chaos, like, which was, I would, you know, it is Relinquished, but like, still, come on, man. He's, but like, dude, that deck is cracked. I will not stop. You know, this deck is cracked, but that deck's the real winner of the real best deck is Relinquished Chaos. We're all moving towards
It was the winner. I don't know if it's the best deck.
Both decks did have 2 representatives in top 16. So.
Yeah.
I'm just 100%. Well, actually, no, more like, you know.
Any other shout outs you guys have?
Shout out to Matt Uber. That's
Sure.
the homie. I don't know you personally, but I love all your deck lists. And every time you post a Reasoning Gate list, I fucking look at it and try to figure out what your crazy mind is thinking about. And I edited this deck based off of your original deck list, which was like with the Chaos Orc. And so instead of playing the Chaos Orc, I just played the third Stein because I just want to kill people. So the 3 Megamorphs. But other than that, it was based off his list. So shout out to Matt Uber for constantly playing this deck and making it better and crazier every time he does.
I think for me, like, for sure, like, shout out to like TGS for hosting a tournament. You know, like, this is the I have my merch on. I'm just a regular player here, so I played like Yu-Gi-Oh, like advanced format locals, and I would when we did have the GOAT locals here, it was a really fun time. I tried to make it to as many as I could. I met like really cool guys in the GOAT scene, like Eric Shen, and you know, that's where I really started to develop my friendship with like guys like Pete and Vidmar and everything. It was a fantastic time. I really like. It's just, I love the place. Shout out to to Pete. Shout out to Alan, and shout out to Vidmar. Like, these guys are love these guys.
I'll say it. So shout out to Pete. Shout out to Pete. Pete almost did get the 3rd deck in the top 16. He had an unfortunate run. So we almost had all 3 of us in top 16 with the same list.
It would have been nice to translate the whole list over, but 2 of 3 is still pretty nice.
Yes. But Pete did a lot of testing on his own and with us, and it took me a lot of convincing to get Pete to play this deck. But hopefully, even with the success, the collective success we had, for sure was definitely, I think it was the right call for 50% Chaos, Turbo specifically. Because again, that deck is literal dog, and if you're playing that deck, like, I don't understand. I watched so many games this weekend of Chaos versus Chaos, and I don't understand how you can take the whole 45 minutes every single time and like think it's the best deck. I just don't. I just don't get it. If I can kill you, most of my games were sub 10 minutes. Like and not even games, my matches were sub 10 minutes. Like it's, I'm not saying this is not a cheese deck, but like the consistency of the deck itself with all the you know, pot of greed, upstart, graceful, reasoning, milling half my deck and then giving me upstart and pot and graceful.
Card D, triple Stein,
Yeah, like
triple Megamorph.
I'm getting my combo every time, almost every time, super consistently. Like it has to be the best deck. It has to be.
Any closing thoughts for you guys have, or anything you can say?
Hopefully that the nice people over at GoFormat.com will let me host a last chance qualifier that I will not be playing in this time. If I did not host this time, I let my business partner do it so I could play. But we would like to host another one for Chicago, even if it's just another GGP before Worlds in October. And maybe we can do like a last chance qualifier. We can hold up to 120, I think, is the absolute max we can have in the store. So that's something I really want to do. But other than that, Go Format is a great format that everyone should play, and your first deck should always be Chaos, but realize later that it should not be Chaos because it's not the best deck. That is my closing statement.
Christian, any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts for sure. Where is he? Where you at?
All right, while Christian's finished, I got one more thing. Shit. I went 6-1 in Swiss and got second, and I got blown out in top 16. But it was hyper consistent, and there's no way that like if I didn't play against another gimmicky deck,
I mean, you lost
like
to our
my
Stein
own.
deck, so
I didn't lose to a Stein deck. I lost to a Stein that he happened to be playing that I didn't know about. But if I would have played more Chaos, because the rest of the top 16 was like all Chaos.
yeah, it was
It was half
literally
chaos.
50%
It was
chaos.
50% chaos.
7
again.
turbo, and then
The
3 or 4
Yeah.
control chaos
So
return. And
if
then
I would have
2
played
relinquish,
against the
yeah.
Chaos players, I'm almost convinced that like I would have ran through top cut, like absolutely. But unfortunately, I was on the. I did too good in Swiss, so I was on the wrong half of the bracket. Apparently. I think all the Chaos players were on one half of the bracket, and they all played each other. So that was very unfortunate for me. But all right, Christian, what are your closing comments?
All right, ready? Ready to end the video?
Ready.
Cyber-Stein best deck!
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you check out TGS2. We're here in Tinley Park and in Oswego. Shout out to them for hosting, of course. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.